Ashton Councilman, and I'm a student in EDM 310 at the University of South Alabama, and this is my final blog post reflection. In EDM 310, I've learned more than I ever thought was possible. I've never been that into technology, and I've always thought less is more when it comes to certain things. Therefore, I never in my wildest dreams pictured myself doing the things I am capable of now after taking EDM 310. I have learned how to utilize several programs, been introduced to numerous people, some who have even impacted my life personally, such as Randy Pausch, communicated with kids, classmates, students, and even teachers from all over the world. How to use the smartboard, upload videos to YouTube for the whole world to see, learned how to podcast, blog, and efficiently use Twitter, just to name a few. Now I'll go into more detail about each specific thing we have covered and learned in this class. First and foremost, the most important thing I've learned from EDM 310 is that you cannot get behind or procrastinate because it is literally near impossible to get caught up. Once you get so far behind, it's all you can do to get caught up, much less stay on track and get ahead. I enjoyed hearing about Dr. Strange's burp back method of learning, which, for those of you who don't know, is when students memorize amounts of information and then spit it right back out on a test. And as soon as they walk out the door, they forget everything they had just memorized or so-called learned. Unfortunately, this problem is only continuing to rise. Teachers and schools have become so caught up on standardized testing and test scores that it's almost as if they don't even care if the student is learning anything, as long as they memorize enough information to make a good score on tests. As a future educator, this is one of the many things on my list I intend to change, at least in my classroom. At the beginning of the semester, I was introduced to a true inspiration by the name of Randy Pausch. Randy was only given a matter of weeks left to live after being diagnosed with cancer. He then went on to make several inspirational and impactful speeches, including the last lecture. I learned several new quotes from this that I will take with me and never forget. One of them is, "Experience is what you get when you didn't get what you wanted." I love this one because sadly a lot of people in this world don't realize that we don't always get what we want and that the things we actually work very hard for and earn are going to end up meaning the most because you worked for it. Some other quotes of his that I like are, "Sell something worthwhile like education and give credit where credit is due." Randy also had some great advice on time management, which I struggled with before this class. Another inspiration I was introduced to is Sir Ken Robinson. I really enjoyed listening to him speak as well because he makes you think, which is really the mark of a great educator. Also, I learned about Travis Allen's The iSchool Initiative, which I personally strongly disagree with. I agree that technology should absolutely be incorporated within our school systems, which it already is to an extent, like the use of the smartboard, but I don't think that it should completely take over it by any means. We also have to keep in mind that we can't rely on technology to work 100% of the time. I mean, there's always going to be glitches in the system, internet servers going down, and things that can potentially go wrong. Whereas books, pens, and paper will always be there. In EDM 310, we had the privilege to comment on student blogs from young children all over the world. As a young child, it is very inspiring to receive comments on your work from older kids and can absolutely brighten your day. It was very important that we were careful in the way that we said things in our comments because the purpose is to help them and not be critical or hurt their feelings. We also were assigned different classmates each week to comment on certain blog posts. This was most helpful in my opinion because it was nice to get feedback from people who were currently working on the same projects and assignments as I was. And we were assigned different teachers to comment on their posts as well, which was probably my least favorite because to my surprise, several of their posts were unclear and they didn't respond to your comments like students and classmates did. There were several different videos Dr. Strange had us watch throughout the semester that I not only enjoy but actually learned a lot from. "Do you teach or do you educate?" was one of them, which was very inspiring and really something to think about. Through watching some of these videos, I learned that no matter how old-fashioned your style may be, you have to change and accept the use of every ever-growing technology or you simply will not survive in today's society if you plan to enter the field of education. The world is constantly changing, growing, and learning, and we have to change with it regardless of how we feel about it. We were also assigned a media fast, which is where the use of any technology is strictly prohibited for 24 hours. And that was probably the hardest thing because we had to go one whole day without using a cell phone, computer, radio, television, iPod, iPad, or video camera, basically any technology at all. The only thing that was allowed was the use of a landline telephone, which we don't have in our house, so that really didn't help. This was next to impossible and took people several attempts, and some did not even successfully achieve it at all. This made me realize just how dependent and reliant we are on our cell phones. People have developed an addiction to them and don't even realize it until they are forced to go without them. And I think that's why Dr. Strange was I think that's what he was trying to teach us through that assignment. We as a society are very spoiled and fortunate. I learned how to use Wordle, which is an image created from words that we uploaded and posted into some of our blog posts. And that was very easy to use and it was free. I learned how to use Google Presentations, iMovie, YouTube, TimeToast timelines, Prezi, Skype, and Smartboard. Also learned how to make a book trailer, how to incorporate links and pictures into our posts, and also how to share and embed videos into our blog posts. Last but not least, I learned how to use alt and title tag modifiers. And I mean, if it weren't for EDM 310, I would still be completely lost in our technological society as I was before I enrolled in this class. Thank you for your patience, Dr. Strange.